Hey, everybody, good evening, and welcome to tonight's episode of Power Hour with the one and the only Mr. Confidence, the founder and CEO of Rewrite the Vision, my brother who wears many hats and wears them very well, Andrew Griffin. Welcome, brother.
Thank you. It's always exciting to be on here. Always exciting.
Oh, thank you. I want to say this. This is the week of Thanksgiving,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to make sure it is unequivocally clear that I thank God for you,
Mm.
for your family, my sister, Leroy Dean, for all four of my nieces. I think baby girl had a birthday, was it a couple weeks ago?
Yes, November 10th.
So happy belated birthday to the baby girl,
You're right.
little Shirley Caesar. Happy birthday to you. I am grateful because I believe one of the ways that God shows his unfailing love for us is who he connects us to.
That's right.
And I heard evangelist Teresa Callahan say, collaboration is God's currency.
That's right.
And I live by that.
Mm.
What we're able to do together is a whole different ballpark. We can do things alone, but there's something that's so powerful when we come together with a common goal. For example, rewrite the vision. If you all haven't followed it on Facebook, please go to that page. Andrew has created a platform, a program, an initiative, a community. I can call it so many things where youth can be taught some fundamental principles in terms of having a vision. I don't remember anybody ever teaching me that as a child. No shade to my parents, but that really wasn't something that we talked about in the 80s and 90s. Not
Right.
only having a vision, but then taking that vision and branding it into something that people can see or hear when it comes to podcasting, amplifying your ideas and your voice. And how do you do that? How do you articulate your thoughts to a worldwide audience? We talk about these things. We go into bullying, how to combat bullying, self-defense. Shout out to Mighty Joe, Pastor
Right.
Levante. Uh, and now we have Josiah B. What's the last name?
Jones. That's
Jones,
right.
there it is.
Yeah,
A little
Brother
something missing.
Jones.
That's our comedian extraordinaire, and we really have a plethora of different topics that we present to young people. Shout out to the entire team. I'm thankful for all of them because they all have
Right.
their own unique lane. Shakaya, we love you, sis. Leslie, we
That's right.
love you. Loroya, for being one of the greatest choir directresses and musical teachers. I'm loving the post every Sunday. I'm loving it because this is that's her element.
That's right.
That's her
That's right.
element.
That's right.
So I welcome everybody. Please go ahead and let us know you are here. Tag and share everyone. Hi, Stacy Smith. I love you, sister. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to make sure I tag a few people. Tonight, being that it is Thanksgiving week, I want to start out asking a question of you, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to you and your family in the last 11 or so months of this year, what do you find you are the most thankful for and why?
Mm. Wow, that's a loaded question right off the bat.
Mm,
Uh, it's so many things. I think it's just us being on one accord.
mm,
Being on one accord. The scripture says when you have two or three gathered in his name,
yes.
anything is possible. And I think
Mm,
when you have a family that just comes together and say, hey, let's make this happen. Let's grow together. Let's learn
wow.
together. Let's make let's be one band, one sound. Let's
Yes.
move in even if we look at a marching band, what makes it so nice, even the different levels, they can be just starting out, but they're on one accord. They're marching
Mm,
together. Soldiers are on one accord. They might not like each other all the time, but they're on one accord. But
come
when you get
on.
a family to come together with different talents, different personalities to come together. I think that's the number one thing that I am, well, one of the top things I'm grateful for, along with health and,
Yes.
different opportunities that have come our way over the last 11 months. But just
Mm.
being on one accord, I think puts everything else in order.
Wow. That is phenomenal. And so, since you brought that up, being on one accord,
Hmm.
what do you think are some of the contributing factors when families are not on one accord? Where does that come from? And what are some of the things that lead to? Because sometimes you can be in the same home,
Hmm.
but you're on different pages.
Yeah.
You can be
Oh,
in the
wow.
same marriage and on different pages.
Not only different pages, you could be talking English, they speaking Spanish, right?
Wow.
It could,
That's true.
well,
Yes.
so number one, I think
Mm.
having a goal that you look at and not necessarily you see it right in front, like, but you
Mhm.
see it in your mind, right?
Mm.
Getting together as a family and being consistent, right?
That's
Like if I
good.
ask my daughters to do something, I promise them certain things and I make sure I get those promises done. Like
Okay.
if we had a certain goal to get done and we hit it, let's go celebrate. We
That's
have
good.
family time every Tuesday. I don't care what's going on. Every Tuesday we have our family time. And that could be
Love it.
3 hours, 4 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, the whole day. But on Tuesdays, they know we
Mhm.
coming together as a family to have that time. And so
I
it's
love
like
that.
it's almost like an agreement. When you agree with someone, have an agreement together, if they don't
Mm.
break that agreement, you can stay in that business relationship with them for a long time. But that person
Yes.
keeps going back on their word, breaking
Mm.
agreements, not showing up. It's
Mm.
kind of hard to catch hold of the vision.
Yeah.
And so number one is
Absolutely.
that what is that vision? What is the goal for your family? Where do you see yourself a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now as a family?
Mm.
And what little steps can we do to get towards that? And along with being consistent, right? If they don't see us
Mhm.
being consistent, they're not going to take it serious.
Mm. Well, do you think sometimes we misconstrue consistency with perfection?
Mm, that's good. That's good. The saying is goes, practice makes perfect.
Yes, sir.
It does not.
Mm.
Practice makes permanent.
Woo! Come on. Hold on. Hold on. Say it again, brother. Say it again.
Practice does not make perfect. It
Wow.
makes permanent. And so
Wow.
sometimes we are trying to be perfect and
Yes.
practice to this perfection, and because we don't get it to sound or look like someone else who we perceive as perfect, we stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what needs to happen is the consistency needs to be there.
Wow.
Because I'll give an example. If you're practicing the piano, but you're
Yes.
listening to someone who's been playing the piano for 30 years and they sound like this virtuoso, but you're playing for a couple of months and you don't sound like them, sometimes you want to quit because you
Mm.
don't sound like that. You're like, why am I not
Mm.
sounding like this? But if you interview that individual, they'll tell you there were days where they didn't sound the best, but they consistently practice every day.
Yes.
And it didn't sound the best, but they practice on certain things, right? And they
Mm.
got to good habits. So sometimes we can practice bad habits
That's
and it
right.
don't look like the way we want it to, and then we get frustrated.
Yes. Yes. I agree
So
with
that's
that.
where the frustration comes in when we trying to be perfect and we lose consistency.
That's good. That's good. And I want to say this. And I think it's extremely important that I say the relationship that a daughter has with her father
Hmm.
is just as important at 5 than at 50.
Absolutely.
And over the last few days, I had a chance to spend some what I would call quality time
Mm.
with my father. And I've been very transparent on this platform without being disrespectful, but
Hmm.
I am transparent when it comes to the fact that I was a product of a broken home.
Mm.
My parents divorced when I was 3 years old. So I didn't have those
Mm.
memories that the average child may have of, laying in daddy's arms or daddy's home and running
Mm-hmm.
to the door. I don't have those visions. I am just now in my adulthood and being a parent, finally having moments with my father.
Wow.
Because a lot of times, and we've talked about this, when there is a divorce,
Mm-hmm.
a separation, it's almost as if the child has to pick a parent, which side,
Mm.
which side. And that
Mm.
is a terrible place for a child to have to choose between the two people that they love the most.
That's right.
And then what happens, and I want to speak on the women's behalf, many of us, not all of us, but many of us as moms, we're so angry at that father for his absence, for lack of funding. We begin to say certain things in the presence of these children
Mm-hmm.
that they don't need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a problem with their dad, that's money driven or that's whatever it is, deal with him. Now, if he hasn't hurt that child physically or caused any harm, give that child a chance to create their own memory of their dad, their own perception of their dad. So I remember the conversations about, oh, he's this, oh, he's that. And fast forward, neither parent is perfect.
No.
No, I didn't want perfection. I wanted his presence.
Mm.
I didn't mind the flaws. I didn't mind whatever he had going on. I just wanted him.
Mm.
I wanted to know him. And I look so much like him. Even as I get older, I look more like him. He is my twin.
That's
And
right.
now I'm getting to learn. I just learned my dad can sing. My dad can play a
Wow.
whole piano.
See.
I had no idea growing up. And I'm like, wow. So I get a chance to spend the night at my dad's house while I was getting my car repaired. And I have to admit, I felt like a little girl.
Mm.
Like, hi, daddy. I'm at my daddy's house. So I need you all to understand that relationship
Mm.
is so important. I don't care what age that daughter is. She needs to see, hear, be validated by, have conversations with her father or father figure. Simone says they are not perfect and never will be. And I want parents to understand maybe we ought to stop trying to be so perfect and just be more present.
Mm.
I think I want us to try that. Now,
That's
let
right.
me ask this. I've been watching your posts. I love, love, love the insight and the encouragement that you are giving fathers.
Mm-hmm.
What is your vision for the four daughters you have? What do you see for them?
Well, I want them to be their own individual selves. Find the
Mm,
greatness that's inside of them. If they tell me,
mm,
Daddy, I don't want to go to college, I want to pursue this, go ahead. Daddy, I want to go to college and I want to pursue this. Go ahead.
okay.
Daddy, I want to go across the country because I want to be this fashion designer. Go ahead. I
Mm,
want them because we're living in a society where we're told to go to school, get good grades, and we
yes.
go to we graduate school with all this debt, and we don't even go into the field that we went to the school
Come
and school
on.
with.
Yes.
And so I wanted them to do something that they love,
Okay.
and because sometimes we say just go ahead and try it out, try this out, try that out. You can figure out what you want to do when you're 12, 13 years old. There's individuals who are singers, who are actors, who are athletes, who had that dream inside when they were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. They knew what they wanted to do. And
Yes.
what has happened is, especially in schools, they say, stop daydreaming. And that
Mm.
is God's inspiration to us sometimes for some of the future
Woo.
things and gifts He's put inside of us. You know,
Wow.
the way our life is a gift from God. The way we
Yes.
live our life is our gift back to Him. And
Yes.
so I never want to put a cap on my girls. Of course, I taught them certain skills that they could have so they don't have to go for a quote unquote part time job. No, you know how to play instruments, you know how to sing, you know how to speak. you know how to do stuff that you can actually get compensated now, where you can pay for
Yes.
your own college degree. And that's
My
what I teach
God.
youth in Rewrite the Vision. Let's figure out what you know how to do. Let's get you on this path now. And so by the time you 19, 21, you already got the finances figured out. And by the
Come
time you
on.
30, you're not worried about finances at all. Because here's the thing, most people, they think about money all the time because they don't
Yes.
have it outside of their lives.
Mm.
And so and the scripture says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. And that's true. What happens is we think about money all the time. We work
Yes.
for it 8 to 10 hours a day,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always on our mind. And so I train
Mm.
youth, let's figure out what your gifts are so we can not worry about money. By the time you're 30, you're financially independent.
Come
And that's a
on.
different conversation. Now, what are you doing when you're not worried about money, which 99% of individuals, or let me make it closer, 92% of individuals are worried about when they get up. And
Wow.
so that's some of the things I want my daughters to not, let's focus on your gifts. And that's what I teach other children and other teenagers. And that's what I'm currently working with on fathers as well. Let's get that stuff out the way.
I love that. And then what you're doing when you take the time to talk to your daughters about what they want to do, first of all, that requires communication.
Yeah.
So many of you all are going to have to go in the garage and get your dining room table back because everybody's going to their own individual rooms and with their smartphones. No one's talking anymore.
That's
But
right.
in order to get to what they're good at, what they love, what their gifts are,
That's
you're
right.
watching them and you're talking to them.
Mm.
So we're going to have to change this whole dynamic of I'm just in my room, close the door. We're not talking. We're
Mm.
in the same home, but don't know anything about each other.
That's right.
One of my very first podcasts 4.5 years ago was Who Moved My Dining Room Table? Because that was the place when I was young where we used to eat together. Now, we didn't have as much conversation as I would have wanted because in that time, if I can really be honest, there was a very big divide between grown-ups and kids.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
were seen, but not so much heard.
Mm.
There was no talk of, yeah, mama, I'm being bullied. Yeah, dad, I'm depressed. Unfortunately, those kinds of conversations really weren't welcome.
Mm.
You pray it away. What are you
Mm-hmm.
talking about? You got all you need. You got a house to live in. You got clothes. You can't have no problems, child. You have no bills. Well, but yeah, children can have their own set of unique circumstances. And we see now in the news or on social media where children as young as 6, 7, and 8 are unlifing.
That's right.
So what does that tell you? Something's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And parents, if you don't communicate with them, you're going to lose them.
That's right.
And that's very scary. So every time I see those stories, I wonder in my mind, how does that child even know what that is?
Mm.
How they even know how to carry that out? But when you look at it, they can find information very easily.
Very easy.
We didn't have that. We had encyclopedias. We didn't have the internet. We had a pager, but no phone to call nobody. So now our children are getting cell phones at 4 and 5 with information at their fingertips. They're coming out of the womb technologically savvy.
Yeah.
When I go to work, I see children come in with tablets. They are no bigger than 2 feet tall. They got tablet, cell phone. I mean, that's the day we are in.
That's right.
So I want to ask you, what is your vision for you?
For me, it's a few things. Number one, I'm not scared because one individual, he said this. He said, Andrew, you shouldn't be telling people what you're gonna do, what goals you have. You should keep everything silent. And for a long time, I believed that because when you reference the story of Joseph, and he told his brothers, he told his family that he had all these big dreams and big goals. what they did do. They tried to take that brother out, right? Take him
Yes,
and
they
his
did.
dream out. And when you look at Joseph, when his brothers sold him into slavery, or he was thrown in that pit, right?
Right.
And he was looking up and he says, this is not really what I saw in my vision.
Mm.
And when you're down on your knees and you're not where you look up and you see this is not where I'm supposed to be in my vision, what you see is only temporary, right?
Wow.
And what you
Wow.
see is only temporary. When you tell people about your goals, it makes you go through your storms faster.
My God. Wow.
When you tell people, hey, this is
Wow.
what I'm about to do, and you know they're going to hold you accountable.
That's it.
You don't go through a few storms, but we all are going to go through the storms. See, that's
Yes.
the tricky part about life. And a funny thing, we all going to go through storms.
Mm.
But when you tell somebody about your goal, you're going to go through them quicker. And you're going to be held accountable. So you're going to grow faster. So do you want to get to your goal? So think about this. If I say, hey, I'm about to buy this building, and I tell Facebook and I tell them, we about to do this, we about to do that. And another year goes by. Somebody's going to pop up and say, Andrew, what about that building? They're going to hold me accountable.
Yes.
But if I just held it in my mind, right, and it didn't happen after 6 months, didn't happen after a year, didn't happen after 2 years, I can just kind of sweep stuff under the rug. But when you tell somebody, this is what I'm about to do, you're going to have people, you're going to always have jealous people, but you're going to have people that help you get to that goal, hold you accountable. You're going to find out who your runners are. And so I want to have a university, right? A university, a physical building that can turn on online later, but a physical building where we can train individuals, not just train them to go to school, get good grades, get a good job. No, I want to train the future CEOs. I want to train the future mayors, the future presidents, the future governors. I want to train the future doctors, the future billionaires. I want to train individuals who say, no, I don't want to just have an existence. I want to dominate life. I want to share all my gifts. I want to be the star of my own movie. I don't want to be an extra in my own movie. And that's the people I want to run with. I want to train fathers. I want to have these things in place.
Yes.
And so my goals are pretty big, right? There's a certain amount of money I need to make to get to certain those goals. And I'm just... They're out there, and I'm not afraid to share my goals because I know my community is going to hold me accountable.
Yes.
And I know the storms that I'm going to go through, I'm going to grow through them. I'm going to grow through them.
Yes.
And that's sometimes we're afraid of that storm. That storm, we don't try to get rid of the problems. We just become a better problem solver.
That's so good.
Right?
My God.
So that's part of the goal. You can look up how much a school and a building, how much that stuff costs, because I need triple that amount. So that just gives the individuals some of the goals that I have. And I don't mind, just sharing it. I need to make over $1 million in the next 12 to 14 months.
Okay.
That just is what it is.
There it is.
That just is what it is.
Come on here.
And so I'm not ashamed to share that. And I'm going to help as many people as I can to help me get to that goal.
I love that. Hi, Karen Simmons. Welcome, sister. So, accountability partners. When I'm a paparazzi consultant. One of the things we talk about, I have a few accountability partners in different parts of my life. I have a jury accountability partners. I have some people in my life that are couples that I talk to about relationships. I have people in different sectors of my life that I feel I'm accountable to and I trust in that way. So in business, if you don't tell your accountability partners the goal, and in your mind, I want to sell so many pieces, but I never tell Simone, then she can't text me and say, I haven't seen you go live.
Right.
Where you been? And am I prepared for that? Because true accountability It might get on your nerves.
Mm-hmm.
You may not want to be reminded that you didn't do XYZ, but it's for your good. Didn't you say that you wanted to make your car note in jewelry? Did you take your $400 car note and
Mm.
divide it by $8 and get that you got to sell 52 and a half pieces? Where are you with that? So if you're really trying to reach that goal, you need to get an accountability partner so they can pull on you. Because those in the comments, one particularly knows when it comes to me and accountability, I'm gonna get on your nerves. And the reason why is because I care enough about my people to want them to succeed.
Mm.
I love to see you win, Andrew,
Mm.
LaRoya, Karen, Simone. I love to see you win because I feel like if you can, so can I. And then when we bring our winnings together, we really can do some things.
That's right.
And that's kind of what we do with the organization that you put together, because all of us, Shakaya, Leslie, Pastor Levante, just both Josiah's, myself, you, LaGoya, everybody has their lane. Everybody's winning in their lane, and we're here to come together. You remember the cartoon Voltron? That's old school. Voltron is this entity that was made up of smaller people, and when it was time to go fight the enemy, all like Power Rangers, they come together and they make this
Right.
one robot, all these different colors. When they come, when Voltron, don't play now. When it's time to get out there and fight the enemy, they coming together. And that's how I see us. We each are the networking aspect, connecting with each other, brainstorming together to create something. A university is needed.
That's right.
Because there's a lot of stuff that regular school ain't teaching.
Nope.
It's a lot of training that fathers, mothers, young people can use that's not happening in the home. So if we can have a university that helps a young person, number one, have self-esteem, have confidence, learn how to build the vision, build the brand, work the podcast, get out there and make things happen at 12, at 14, by 20, we will already have a CEO. And guess what else? Let's put this part in it. When you help young people to feel comfortable with who they are, Andrew, how do you think that will translate in their relationships?
As far as with the other people or the mom and
Yes.
dad?
With parents, significant others, potential husbands and wives, how does that help them in that area?
Well, I'll share this story with you because it probably relates to me. When you have confidence and you know who you are, you're not led astray by somebody who doesn't have a vision for their lives, right? And so when I was 17, I wrote this list out of what I wanted in a wife. It was probably about 2 pages worth of stuff. And then I said, now what do I have to become to get this person? When you work on yourself, when you work on your own confidence, who you are, when you love yourself first, right? You gotta, how do you know how to treat somebody when you don't love yourself? Matter of fact, you do not know how to treat anybody if you hate yourself. Think about this. If you hate yourself, how do you know how to treat someone? And so getting to that point where you love the skin that you're in, you love the size that you are, you love the personality that you have, you love the opportunities that you're going to get by becoming the person that you're supposed to become. When you take the time to learn and deposit in your own self, when you fill your own cup up, you can be, because nobody wants to be around somebody who's empty and who's broken, right? Who's bleeding, right? And sometimes when you're bleeding, I heard this by Dr. Eddie Connor, when you're bleeding, when you're cut and you start to bleed on other people because you haven't healed yet. And so it affects everything, right? It
Mhm.
affects everything. Until you get yourself together, you start to love yourself, you treat yourself with respect, right? And that
Mm.
even with goals, you set a goal to do something and you don't get it done, you didn't really hold yourself accountable, you know? And so many things you can look at in that area that will affect your relationships later down the road.
That's good. And I asked that question because when I look at social media, and I look at my own life and people who I know, a lot of relationships are not making it. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of marriages are not making it. And it makes me wonder, well, why is that? And what are the contributing factors? And what I've learned is just by looking at social media, there is this very antagonistic energy that
Mm.
exists between men and women.
Mm-hmm.
I look at different posts. There is this us versus them,
Mm.
and I despise that. And there's whole platforms out there that are based on this women versus men and the whole. I hate to bring up the late Kevin Samuels, but there were some things that he used to say that were very derogatory about women, um,
Mm.
their weight, their age. Well, you're not married because you're fat. You're not married because you're too dark. You're not married because you're not cute. And there was a population of men that thought that that was the way to go.
Mm.
I feel like we have a lot of work to do just foundationally in just having a conversation amongst men and women. I am blessed to have brothers like yourself in my life where I can glean from, you know, you and Leroya have a beautiful relationship. Um, Minister Boswell, Evangelist Braswell, there it is, Evangelist Jennifer, the Edwards. I have my cousins, Pastor Bulger and Lady Felicia. I have people in my life that I can say that's love
Mm.
and it's longevity.
Mm-hmm.
But if we go into what social media it tries to portray, we will always be at each other's throats about something. It can be the whole baby daddy, where are you? Or he doesn't want me, so I won't let him see his kids. There's really there's room for conversation, a lot of conversation with relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me this, Andrew, when it comes to your children, how important is it for them to see a loving marriage in the home?
It's very important. I actually talked about one of this on one of my posts earlier in the week too. That your children need to see you treat your wife or spouse like a queen, and if you're a female, they need to see you treat their father like a king. Right? They need to see that. They need to see that example of love because
Yes.
I was even listening to. What was that? Will Smith's testimony where he said his father was very abusive to his mother. And he still thinks about that stuff to this day,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I don't know how it affects his personal relationship, but he said it was some stuff that he he still feels that tension when his father would come home and be abusive to his mom. It did something to him psychologically. He's just now getting over some things. That sticks with your children, right? You can see a 5 year old who see his dad beats his mom, and by the time he's 18, he's formed an identity that this is how you're supposed to treat a female when you get mad at them. And now he gets married, he just repeats the same cycle. Um, if our children are like sponges, if they're gonna copy something, they might as well copy the good stuff.
Yes.
Copy the good stuff. You used to get in trouble when you copied in school, but if you copy from the smart person, after a while you'll find out the right answers. Don't
Mm-hmm.
copy from nobody stupid, right? Don't copy from no fools, right? And I think in life we've been copying fools. We've been seeing foolishness, and it's time to copy some great examples. I tell individuals, if you're married, you shouldn't have a whole lot of single friends. You shouldn't be hanging around a whole lot of single friends. Why? Because it's taken away from if you get in an argument with your spouse, they're not going to maybe have the best communication answers for you, or techniques. You need to copy from people that you see. Even when I listen to all motivational speakers, but
Mm.
some of the few that I hold close to my heart is individuals like Eric Thomas,
Okay.
individuals like Zig Ziglar, individuals like Bob Proctor, individuals like Brian Tracy, John C. Maxwell. And I'm going to tell you, they all have something in common. They've all been married over 30 years.
Wow.
So I am taking notes from individuals and listening to individuals who not only say you can have this stuff, but have it, and who don't have dysfunction in their family. Because there's a lot of people who
Mm.
talk, but they have dysfunction in their families. A lot of preachers, pastors, business people who get up and you see their wife on their hands, but they're going home to somebody else, or they're sleeping on the couch. They don't have this relationship with their wives. And so I wanted to follow individuals who had a track record. They 30 years plus in marriage, they have children, and they have a career. So I'm trying to take cliff notes from their lives. And so it's
Yes.
so important, because that's what our children are doing. Getting back to your question, they're taking notes from everything you do, and they hold it. They it's like a computer, and that what they see when they're 5, 7, 8, 9 years old, it goes to their hard drive. And they won't
Mm.
even know why they're doing certain things. They will learn stuff when they're in 5 or 6, 7 years old that they're doing in their
Mm.
30s, 40s, and 50s, and don't understand why.
Wow. That is powerful. I just wanted to thank everybody for hanging in there. I have been having some lagging issues, so hang in there with us. Question for you, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to your childhood. What kind of child were you? How would you describe yourself?
Well, if you ask the right people or certain people, they thought I was very autistic, because we've been talking for about 30 minutes. This is probably the most words they ever heard in my whole life.
Wow.
When we used to go to the family gatherings, I did not speak. And not
Mm.
because I didn't, it was just like I had this fear. My hands would be shaking, my lips would be shaking. I didn't know what to say. And
Mm.
then I knew I appeared weird, but I didn't know. I rather had appeared weird that you didn't talk to me than me try to start a conversation and you find out that I'm not that smart. Right. Um, it was rough because I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't have any friends.
Mm.
I had one cousin, and when
Mhm.
we went over to the house, we weren't like talking. He just had a video game, so it was another way for me not to have to talk. We would just play video
Wow.
games, or we would play sports, but I didn't have to talk. And so I was this weird kid, and most people would have thought that I was smart, but I wasn't smart. And when you're
Mhm.
not smart, you're not popular, you're in the middle, which they call weird. And so
Is that what weird is?
that's what weird is, right? You're in the middle. You're not the smartest. You're not the most popular. You're just weird. They just like, that's something different. That's something. So that's what they would call me. And I to this day hold like one of my it was actually two of my cousins. They always treated me like I was like a million bucks, like I was the greatest thing since sliced cheese.
Mm.
And they would treat me this way when I was 5 years, 6 years old, and I still remember it.
Wow.
I still remember the feeling that I had when I would go around these cousins. And I'll say one of
Mhm.
them, I put her in my book, Janine Griffin. She went to King High School. That's the reason why I went to King High School. She didn't even know. Like she treated me so well.
Wow.
And I was her cousin, but she didn't treat me like anybody else. She was just like, I'm like his little protector, and it was just like
Wow.
real, like that was like my bodyguard. Nobody could talk about me, nobody could mess with me when Janine was around,
Mhm.
and I still remember those things. But I was a weird kid. I could probably say that I stayed to myself,
Okay.
and I probably never held a conversation with anybody till I was probably 18.
Okay.
more than
Wow.
more than three sentences till I was
Wow.
18. The only person I would talk to was my mother. And
Wow.
what made it so hard was she started having strokes when I was 16, 17.
Oh
So
my God.
17 years old, and I'm taking care of her like a child. And
Mm,
so the person that I would talk to all the time, she couldn't even talk. And so it
my God.
forced me to come out my shell. I would say to this day, it would probably be hard for me to be married to this day if my mother was still alive. That's how tight we were. Like,
Wow.
that's how tight we were. I
Wow.
was driving at 14, taking her to doctor's appointments that nobody knew. I just always looked like I was mature, right?
Wow.
Um, but yeah, that childhood was a little rough.
That's a lot of responsibility
Yeah,
for a young person. How do you think that that has shaped who you are today?
it was a big, way of me being able to take care of the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you don't want to have to go through stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
but it did. It prepared me. It made me think of, what's the end goal of life? Like, what do I
Mm,
really want? I didn't have no time to party.
mm,
It took
mm-mm.
that part away in my life. Like, I didn't
Okay.
have that time where you waste 10 years from like 18 to 27 partying and drinking,
Yeah.
smoking. It took that away, and I became focused. I
Wow.
became focused. I remember the talks me and my mother would have. Even though she couldn't move, it was still wisdom she was depositing, and I was hanging on every word.
My God.
I was hanging on every word to the person. So it's one thing for somebody you love to be ill. It's another thing for this to be your everything. I
Yes.
mean, I did not talk to people but her.
Hmm.
I did not share my dreams and goals. And I used to tell her that I want to do all this stuff. And she was the only one that said, yeah, Andrew, you could do that.
Wow.
It was nothing. I said, I want to have $33 million in the account by the time I'm 50. She's like, yeah, I can see you doing it.
Wow.
It was never that you can't do it. And I think that was our relationship was the thread that was just keeping me going, because I was so depressed. I just couldn't figure this thing out. Life. I couldn't figure out that
Mm.
life. I used to see people smiling, and I'd be like, why are they smiling? Like, ain't nothing to smile about with life. It's just a big depression ball. That was my mindset.
Wow.
But she was the one that kept me centered and was my foundation. I had a good relationship with my father, but we didn't talk, right? I didn't talk to anybody but
Mm.
her. So there was a difference. There was a different type of relationship with that. But yes, it definitely helped me to the person I am today. But sometimes we don't want to go through the storms to make us better.
That's right. That's right.
And it's
That's
hard.
right.
You
It
know, a
is.
tree grows in two different directions, right?
Oh
It
my.
grows, the roots grow, and
Mm.
then you see it coming up. Well, it was 20 years where I just had working on roots.
Mm. Come on here.
And people don't want to talk about the roots. They want to see the tree, they want to see all the branches
Yes.
and all the fruit you produce, but they don't want to work on the roots.
Ooh, that's good. That is so good. So here we are. We're in holiday week, Thanksgiving. We're in the holiday season. Sometimes this time of the year can bring a lot of pressure on families, particularly on fathers. Uh, the kids may have expectations of a bunch of toys, a bunch of presents. How do you maintain and cultivate your confidence when your finances are limited?
Mm, excellent question. I'm not the smartest person, so that's why I always keep stuff very, very, very simple. What did we used to do when we were very little and the holidays used to come up? We
Mm-hmm.
used to get creative. We used to write and make cards for our moms or dads or aunties or uncles or brothers or sisters. We got creative because we weren't even thinking about money when we were 6, 7, 8, 9 years old.
Right.
And somehow we get in our 20s and 30s, and that's all we think about. We can't do anything for anybody because we don't have no money.
Mm.
You know,
My Lord.
even in church, people get frustrated when they can't give the 10% or whatever you think. You can
Yes.
get some time, you can get some talent. And so in this season where people will say, I don't have money to do this, you got to get creative. I remember we used to do stuff because after the holidays, you know, prices would go down, right?
Mm.
You get Christmas decorations for 25%, 75% off the day after Christmas. So we got
Yes.
creative. Let's put the stuff up a couple of days after Christmas. Let's still
See, come
celebrate
on, creativity. Come on.
creativity, right? And I think we've gotten away from the creativity, right?
Mm.
When we were kids, we made our own cards. We figure out, okay, what is this person like? What would be important for them? Would it be a memory? Can I do a video for them? Can I do something that
Oh.
doesn't involve the money? Can I pay tribute to them? Can I give them a compliment? Can I give them a handwritten note? Can I share with them how they changed my life? Can I do this? You can get creative. And sometimes, and we in a society today where all we got to do today is just buy gift cards, and that's what we give out to people. We don't even think about the
Mhm.
gift.
Yes.
We throw them a gift card. We're done with it, and there's no
Right.
thought put in it.
Mm.
And when you have money, sometimes you lose the thought. You lose the
Yes.
creativities that you can
Yes.
to create that you can form. And so that's why I encourage people, get creative.
Yes.
Maybe you can do something to change someone's life, right?
I
Get
love that.
creative. Or if you know how to cook, get something, make them this incredible pie that you're known for, and give it
Yes.
to them.
Come
Right?
on.
It's stuff you can do
Yes.
where you don't have to compare yourself to the Joneses and say, I bought this person this, or I bought this expensive purse that they're gonna lose or mess up in a couple of months anyway.
Mm-hmm. See?
Get them something that's gonna stick, but get
Yes.
quiet and get creative.
I love that. I think that's the most beautiful and heartfelt gifts have thought put into it. And they
Mm-hmm.
say it's the thought that counts, not yet necessarily how much you spend, but the time you spent and the thought you put into a gift that's tailored for that person.
That's right.
Speaking of that, when it comes to your four daughters, how have you been able to individualize your approach to each one?
So it's a good question. So being a coach, you work with all different types of personalities,
Mm-hmm.
which I love people because I used to take psychology, and if I was going to do something in school, it would have been to be a psychiatrist because I just love it.
Wow.
And I found out that there's not too many different personalities, only about maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
That's really
Okay.
it. We got billions of people in the world, but there's only 5 or 6 different type of people.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and so it just, and you could take it's people who are adventurous. There are people who are just want to be a little bit more secure.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who I want to get into all of them, but my daughters, they all have different personalities,
Mm-hmm.
and I've learned how to. Some of them I can just look at them, they be like, okay, let's do this. Some people I just gotta. One of them, we got to have a long talk. We got to get
Okay.
through certain things, right? Uh, the other one, you got to threaten her, but she's cool. She's cool. You can guess who that is. But they all got different personalities. You know, I give this example. You know, I was asking one of them. Well, I asked all of them. I was like, "Is my hair growing in the middle?" And you know, my oldest, she's like a detective type. She was like, so what are we gonna do to try to make it grow? I see a little bit, but what are we gonna do? And then that's Faith. And then Angel,
Yeah.
she says, because she's the nicest person. She can tell you off with a smile. She's like, Daddy, it's not growing, but keep trying. Keep trying.
That's church mother.
That's church mother. Hermie, she's really a daddy's girl. So she was like, Daddy, what do you want it to be? Do you want it to grow? And she's like, yes, I see it growing. Even when she don't see anything, she's like, yes, it's growing. It's growing. And then I asked Serenity.
Uh-oh.
And she was like, no, you are bald headed. Just don't even worry about it. You're bald headed. Just keep shaving. It ain't growing. Get over it. Right. And so those are the personalities that we work with, but it's fun. It's fun because everybody's not the same. Everybody's not the
That's
same. And
right.
that's why I love that they have different personalities, because when we work with other teenagers, they're not
Mhm,
just looking at it like they are just special. They got this trait. No, they
mhm.
are all different,
Yes.
but they're
Yes.
winning because they came together.
Wow, that's powerful.
You can be different, but when you come together, you can win. Just like our fingers. Our fingers are different sizes, different shapes, different forms. But when they come together, it's a powerful punch, right?
That is powerful.
But you can't punch nobody with your pinky. It's no effect. You can't punch nobody with your middle finger. You can't punch, it's got to come together.
Mm.
And that's what the things we teach. Like when you come together, y'all are powerful.
Yes. Yes. One thing about this time of the year, brother, people suffer from a lot of mental health
Mm-hmm.
issues. You would think this is supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year. But unfortunately, this is a time where you miss those who aren't here anymore. You
Mm.
look at yourself and you say, well, I didn't get my goals that I wanted to get done when I came into the year. How does a man maintain his mental health in this ever changing economy, the world of social media, all the pressure? Because men are created and society has put extra pressure, but then there's the biblical stance of being providers and hunters and all that. How does a man handle that pressure?
So you and that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question
It
because life
is.
life is hard in general. Like it's and I tell individuals all the time, like you see me and my wife, and we love each other. We have incredible connection with each other, but there's still some days where it's just like it's hard,
Mhm,
and we
mhm,
love each other. So it's no
mhm,
such thing as perfection. It's no such thing as perfect relationships. No such thing as you set a goal and it's gonna happen
mhm,
right the day you set it.
mhm.
You got to look at the end in mind. You got to
Mm,
go outside of the picture,
okay.
right? Because when you're grinding, you just in it. Sometimes you can paint a different picture with the same
Mhm,
brush, the old brush that you've
mm,
been using, and you get frustrated.
yeah.
And sometimes you can't see the picture when you're inside of the frame, as Les Brown would
Wow.
say.
Woo-wee.
And so there's a pattern of life.
Okay.
There's a pattern that when bad times come, they
Mhm,
come to make you stronger so you can provide and be a maker of the good times.
mm,
So there's bad times which create strong people. Strong people create good times. Good times create weak people. Weak
mm.
people create bad times. And you got to
Wow.
understand that pattern. And which
Mm,
pattern are you going to hold on to? Are you going to be a part of the person that runs away when it gets rough? Or are you going to be the person that says, I'm going to figure this thing out right in this rough part, right in
okay.
this valley that we're in? I'm going to
Yes.
figure this out because once I figure this out, it's smooth sailing, right?
Yes.
It's like a plane. A plane exerts the most gas getting up in the air. The
Wow.
most energy in a
Mm,
plane is getting up in the air.
my Lord.
And it starts down this runway. And so many times in life, we could just be down this runway, headed to nowhere. And sometimes we can land in the trees because we never took that next step, that
Yes.
next risk to get us up in the air.
Yes.
This plane just going inside the trees and we getting hit and we keep
Mm,
getting hit.
come on.
And we were never made to do that. We were made to grow, to become problem solvers, right?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
to lift up and fly up. Not
Mm,
and sometimes you're still gonna deal with some turbulence while you up there. But
okay.
get up there, right? Don't
Yes.
stop when you're right there. And sometimes I think we stop right in that
Yes.
lift off. And we
Wow.
find ourselves in the trees. We find ourselves in a dark place. We
Wow.
find ourselves where we don't want to grow and do life anymore because
Yeah.
we have been hit so many times.
Yes.
But it is a mindset, and
Yes.
it is more than just a mindset because some people say because motivation can be like washing your car. It's still
Mm,
going to get dirty, and that amazes me. Sometimes people they won't walk outside without their clothes on.
mm.
You won't see people walking around and say, "Hey, I forgot to put my pants on. I forgot to put my shirt on today. I forgot to put my shoes on." You might forget your
My
socks.
God.
I forgot to do this. But sometimes
Mm.
we forget to check on our mindset before we leave the
Yes.
house. And we
Wow.
do that too many times. And then we let life get away. So imagine leaving your house and keep forgetting to brush your teeth,
Mm.
forgetting to take a shower.
Right.
You physically stink, but now we're our thinking is stinking. As Ziegler would
Mm.
say, we have stinking thinking because we
Thinking,
haven't done
thinking.
check up from the neck up. And that's what we need to do
Woo.
every day. And so life hits us all. And that's why I'm a little harder
Yes.
on fathers, because life hits us all. But you have to develop that mindset where every day I'm still going to do a checkup. I'm still going to put
Yes.
my mental clothes on. I'm not going to forget to come out the house without praying, without seeking
Mm.
advice, without listening to something uplifting, because the world's going to
Yes.
hit you. You
That's
might as well
good.
throw up some shields. If the world's going to get you with some moves, you might as well learn how to block. Learn how to get out the
Ooh.
way. Don't just take the hits. And that's what you do when you don't work on your mind. We don't clean up the thoughts that we have.
Mm.
They said over 85% of our thoughts are negative.
Wow. That's a lot.
Over 85%. And we think about them all the time. We don't know why, because we haven't checked up. We haven't done a checkup from the neck up, as Myron Golden would say.
Mm. Ooh, that's powerful. I see my screen is frozen. Y'all bear with us. We almost done. Thank y'all for your patience. What does mental health and self-care look like for a man?
It goes with goals, but it goes a little further than that. And in the third part of goals, there is what we call a tracking system.
Okay.
And that tracking system is supposed to lay out what plans do you have when life happens.
Mm.
Like what do you do? What is your plan? Like, and what are you doing every day to get over that plan? Like what is your okay, we got the goal here. We got this going on. What are you doing every day to work on that?
Mm.
Somebody might say, I'm not feeling the best. I'm feeling down. Okay, who are you listening to? What books are you reading?
Mm. That's
What
good.
goals do we have? Like what? Because sometimes we can start down this roll of depression and just keep
Mm-hmm.
going down,
Okay.
versus like what is that plan? And so like I ask individuals when I'm coaching, I'm like, what's the growth plan?
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And they like, I've never heard of a growth plan. I'm like, that's one of the main issues, because
Yeah.
now we don't have a system in place to say, okay, what are you doing to get over those hurdles? Who are
Yes.
you listening to? If you just watching the news all day, of course, I know you're going to be depressed.
Absolutely. Yes.
If you ain't reading no book that's going to uplift you, that's going to develop some skills, of course you're going to be depressed.
Mm.
If you're hanging around people who like to smoke, drink, party all the time, of course you're going to be depressed, because that's not uplifting you. And so I would
Mm.
ask the individual who say, first, we need to identify, do you really need to get a certain type of help? But sometimes it's just like depression. And sometimes we can
Yeah.
just get down this road and it becomes, we all deal with mental health at some
Yes.
level, Some is higher than others. But the
Yes.
majority of us need to figure out what are we having planned? What's the plan? Like, well, how are you getting over that stuff?
That's good. And I think it's important to have a community to be able to glean from. I'm so glad that you have um, created this coaching for men and having a safe space, because when a man does not address his mental health, it can negatively impact the family and
That's right.
its ability to function, because you're so stressed. You may become a little bit more easily agitated. So for the woman too, that ain't just a man
Mm-hmm.
thing. When things aren't going a certain way, with finances and you're feeling a certain amount of pressure, that kind of makes you susceptible to you're kind of a ticking time bomb
That's
sometimes.
right. That's
And
right.
stuff that may not normally even bother you, everything gonna get on your nerves.
That's right.
Your
That's
money
right.
funny and your change is strange. Everything gets on your nerve. It's like a toothache. It's like everything is bothering you. But as men, as fathers, if you have a safe place, a space where you can talk to another brother or
Hmm.
accountability partner and say, yeah, I got a little angrier than I probably should have.
That's right.
Can you and I go to lunch, bro? You got an hour to spare, or can you have a phone call? Something.
That's
I
right.
don't know. Women are more vocal. We'll brunch and go and have retreats. I don't know if y'all do that or not.
No, not enough. They probably just watch sports, but it's not talking, right? It's
Okay.
not.
Okay.
We need to do more. We need to do more.
Well, as we wrap up, prayerfully before the end of this year, and I put a post out there because we got some fathers that want to be involved in the father-daughter panel. We're gonna get a date set and we're gonna work on that because I'm inviting my father.
Mm.
And I'm looking forward to having an open conversation with fathers and their daughters and different age groups. Your young fathers, your middle-aged fathers, your older fathers, your grandfathers. I want to talk about that dynamic. I am so proud of you, brother.
Mm.
I love the way you individually love your family and collectively love them. It is absolutely phenomenal, inspirational. Hats off to you. If someone is interested in uh, coaching with you, or they would like to learn more about Rewrite the Vision, how should they reach out?
Definitely. They can reach out like via email, a Griffin 0110 at gmail.com. They can also contact yourself with the Rewrite the Vision group.
Mm-hmm.
They can also reach out to 586-646-3445. That's again 586-646-3445. And then just be a follower of the page because we always put the announcements on there, either my
Yes,
personal page or Rewrite the Vision page. And we'll be excited to grow together.
I love it. Brother, thank you. Thank you all. I've had some technical difficulties tonight. Y'all pray for my internet. But I always love our conversations because one of the reasons why I pick your brain the way that I do is because I plan on being married again.
Say?
And I'm interested in doing things a little bit differently and understanding how things affect men.
Mm-hmm.
I think women make a lot of assumptions about men and not really understand and see that they're trying. And some men and some women did not have a particularly good example in certain situations.
Right.
And if you have nothing to pull from, you kind of out here winging it, which is why I'm so glad you have opened up this platform for brothers to be able to say, hey, Brother Andrew, you know, can I, get some coaching and get some mentoring and have a safe space? Because sometimes I think it takes another brother
Yeah. Yeah.
to have that heart to heart because you all can relate on a different level than the wife can. I mean, yes, you want to share things with your spouse, but sometimes you may need that other brother to be like, yep, I've been there. Yep, done that. Yep, I can help with that.
That's
And
right.
not feel ashamed to do so.
That's right.
So we're going to get out of here. I'm going to ask you, brother, to pray, particularly for our fathers, our men, during this season, those who may have been feeling a little inadequate in certain ways. If we can pray for them tonight. And for those of you who are not yet following me, please follow Critical Conversations Network. Stay tuned on Saturday, November the 30th. Let me make sure I got that date right. Hold on.
29th.
29. 29. There we go. Dr. Crystal Fenderson is doing a very important discussion on holiday grief and
Mm.
how to make sure you are maintaining your mental health throughout the holiday, because not everybody is always feeling jolly and like, Christmas trees and reindeer. Some people have a really tough time emotionally this time of year. So we're talking about how to maintain your mental health. So, brother, I thank you. Thank you all for hanging there with me with all my difficulties tonight. We made it. If you can pray us out, brother, that would be great. And thank you all again for joining us tonight.
Awesome. Thank you again for having me. I always enjoy myself. This is always outside my comfort zone as well. So
Thank you,
I
brother.
thank you, right? Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for life, health, and strength. We thank you for giving us the ability to get it right today. Lord, we
Yes.
ask that you strengthen our fathers, Lord, strengthen our
Yes.
men in this season, strengthen them, let them know that you are with them, that they have help, that they have coaches, that they have other men that's around that can uplift them, to show them things, to just provide a different type of conversation that we might be able to grow our families, that our
Yes.
families can connect and be strong, resilient families, that they know that our fathers are the foundation, and if the foundation is cracked, that things will start to go down, that they are important, that they are needed, that they are game shifters, they're life shifters, that they can
Mm,
change their whole family's generations for
mm,
generations to come. Lord, we ask that you strengthen them in this season, whatever they're going through. We ask you to strengthen the mothers. We ask you to strengthen the
yes.
children. We ask
Yes.
you to strengthen the whole family, that they
Yes,
start to come
God.
together and put you first,
Yes.
and begin to do the work inside the kingdom that we're supposed to do.
Yes, God.
We ask all these things in your son's Christ Jesus' name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Everybody go follow Andrew Griffin on Facebook. Follow Rewrite the Vision on Facebook. And we will be back together next month. Happy Thanksgiving week. Love you all. Good night.
Good night.